What does it mean to be far right? It's a term that's become nebulous due to its excessive use in situations where it doesn't make sense. I think just about everyone on the right has been called far right at some point. But to me, being far right means something very specifically. To me, being far right is not only accepting but embracing human nature. It is recognizing that the animal kingdom is hierarchical and we are not exempt from that. To acknowledge that ever since life first appeared on Earth about 3.5 billion years ago, life has ultimately been survival of the fittest. That 99.9% of species that have ever existed no longer exist. And that in that sense, we aren't special. It is to acknowledge that if we are pressed, we will return to these core animal instincts. We will only care about ourselves. All our professed values will go out of the window. This is a very uncomfortable reality, but it is reality. It is to recognize that only few people have it in them to truly lead a people, and that this is in large part predetermined by our genetics, that we cannot be what we want to be, but that we are what we are. It is to recognize that humans are ultimately tribal, meaning that when people flood our lands and become tribal, we recognize it for what it is, an invasion. It is to recognize that people ultimately have their own self-interest at heart, and to a certain degree they're in groups. And I admit this is a very pessimistic and negative view of reality. But I'm sorry, that's the way it is. And just because we have HBO Max and Pride Parades doesn't mean that we aren't ultimately the same people we were 500 years ago, when all countries that were able to do it were conquering each other. So to me, being far right is not based in hate. It's not based on xenophobia, or my tummy not feeling good when I see a foreigner. It's ultimately a worldview that acknowledges the harsh reality of nature.